everybody. Hi. Hi. I meant to, you know what? After I hit the live button, I said to myself, oh my God, a few people asked me to give them a heads up on Instagram before I went live over here because some people aren't getting notifications I guess. Man, and I forgot to do it and I said I wouldn't. And I forgot. You like my intro? Thanks, DW. I appreciate that. I was just telling everybody the other day, I was like, I'm so proud of my new intro. I'm so proud of it because, Adobe is pretty complex, But, I've been checking my phone every few minutes today, just waiting for these preliminary autopsy results, right? Of Gabby Petito. And, I think we all kind of knew in like the back of our heads that it was going to be a homicide, right? And that's exactly what it is, unfortunately. Yes, you're welcome, Piss and Vinegar, no problem. I've tried. Have I seen his Spotify? Yeah, I have. I mean, here's the thing. I don't have a Spotify account, right? So it's hard for me to like go and check the validity of it. You know what I mean? Like the other day I read some of the songs off that were supposedly on his Spotify and there were people in the chat like that's not really him. And like, I don't have a Spotify. I use Amazon Music and I love Amazon Music. Oh my God, I know Rich Lux does wear a crown. You're right. Yeah, so I like Amazon Music. I love Amazon Music and I don't have Spotify. So I don't know about like how accurate that is, if it's really his account. I mean, do you guys know if it really is? I'm sure some of you have been out here sleuthing, right? Sleuthing McGee's out here. But anyways, what I'm gonna do right now is show you kind of like what we all came for. And show you what the news said. I literally just walked in the house from being outside, so this is going to be my first time watching this too. I found the longest report I could get. Mostly it's all articles, but there are a few videos out there talking about it too. So here we go. I'm going to show it to you. Okay, let me mute myself here.
Regina Gonzalez talking to a forensic scientist about this autopsy report. We do want to bring to you the latest from FBI Denver, as they're saying the Teton County Coroner's Office has confirmed that the remains that were found this weekend are in fact Gabby Petito. We want to bring in Fox's Laura Engel into this. She's outside of the Teton County Coroner's Office. Laura, what are you learning from down on the ground there?
Hi there. Well, of course, as we just learned, that this is a 100% confirmation. It is the news that the family feared but knew was possible. And here we have that official word coming from the FBI Denver office in a tweet, as we were told it was going to come. There's been reporters outside of this coroner's office all day long. We were not expecting any kind of a news conference, but that information did come to us from the FBI. I just spoke with the family attorney for the Petito and Schmidt family in New York, and he told me that the family had been informed. They do know that it is Gabby Petito's remains, but they could not really comment much more than that. And right now, the focus is, of course, learning more about the final autopsy results when they will become available. It has been determined to be a homicide, but the manner of death will be important. The time of death, of course, important on this timeline of this crime.
Yeah, Laura, we've been waiting on these results. Did the timing surprise you? This actually came out a lot sooner than we all thought it was going to come out.
Yeah, you know, we've been in contact with the county coroner since we've been here. We were here over the weekend. They were talking with us once there were the remains that were found, but then they kind of shut down. We were told that the autopsy, a normal autopsy, could take anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. But if there was a complicated case, it could take longer. This seems like it could be a complicated case. The area where her remains were found is this beautiful area along a stream outside of a campsite with rocks and trees. And there are now markers from where the investigators had gone and marked with orange spray paint. And there are a lot of marks. So we don't know what that means. We don't know what type of evidence was obtained at the scene, but we know that it appears, at least on first sight, that there was a lot of it. So, you know, we have this initial information, and there's more to come. The stepfather, Jim Schmidt, is still here in Wyoming. He wanted to be here in case he was needed. We did not see him. He was not here to make any type of identification. We don't know exactly how that happened, but now his goal and the goal of the family is what he said, to bring Gabby home.
Yeah, Laura, let's walk everyone through what led us to this point. How did they eventually narrow down to the Grand Teton National Forest to search for Gabby Petito? How'd they get there?
Yeah, it's a really interesting story, and it's a one that involves citizen journalists and detectives, really, because once the call went out from the FBI asking for people, if you were in this area, they believed that they were here in this area. We know it was part of their planned journey. This was a dream destination for Gabby Petito. She spoke to her family often about coming to this beautiful part of the country, and we know that they were going from Utah through here and eventually, hopefully, up to Oregon by Halloween was the plan, so that they knew that they were right around here. But it was this YouTube blogger, this travel blogger, who had taken video back on August 27th in that time frame. And when the word came out, go back and look at your videos if you were in this area, she jumped out of bed. She told Fox News this, and she went to her videos and she was editing, and she goes, oh my gosh, there's the white van that we've been being told to be on the lookout for. So she slowed it down, turned that into the FBI, turned it into the family, and that gave the FBI not only a very specific area of the park, and we're talking over 300,000 acres of land here. It gave them a very specific campground to start, like ground zero, and move out from there. And it was not long after that, Sunday afternoon, that we learned that human remains had been found nearby.
It's just amazing to think the role that citizen journalism has played in kind of cracking this case. And no doubt it will moving forward with all these pictures and videos, just out and about evidence that likely will be used in the future. Laura, last question for you. When do we think that final autopsy report will be released?
You know, we were just looking through the FBI statement. There was the tweet, and then there was a longer statement. They didn't mention how long that could be. We know that it could take some time. I think that what they wanted to do was get those first two initial pieces of information to the family first, and then to the public, that it is 100% Gabby Petito and it was a homicide. Now, for the rest of it, we know that that could take a lot longer. We're just not sure. I asked the family attorney, what is he hearing? He said he just couldn't say, he didn't know. And as soon as we know, of course, we'll bring it to you.
All right, Fox's Laura Ingle reporting live for us in Wyoming tonight. Thank you so much for breaking it all down.
Well, there you have it, guys. I mean, it's really sad, right? It makes you wonder, really makes you wonder. Now, I do want to show you, an aerial shot that I found earlier today of where her van was in comparison to where she was. And you know what? I really, really, really am so, I mean, happy is not even the right word to use, but I'm so glad that, you know, that YouTube channel, literally, I can't say enough good things about those people, man. The people who were like the ones that handed the footage to the FBI, they didn't run to YouTube and post it like, oh my God, guys, look what we saw. No, they took it to the FBI, right? They kept their mouth shut. They took it to the FBI. And like after they did that, they showed it, but like they didn't try to come out here like Katie Joy Paulson from Without a Crystal Ball trying to make the story about them to get clout. And you guys, when I really took a look today at the, you know what, I don't even want to make this about her, but the people who are taking advantage of this to, you know, for whatever selfish reasons they have, just disgusting, right? Not good, not a good look, but you know, I don't know why I'm surprised somebody like her would do that, but hey, you know, what do you want? But so here's the let me get rid of this overlay here so you can see it better. So we all know that the YouTube channel was documenting their road trip, right? The Red, White, and Bethune, I think it's called, and their van life people too, right? They're the ones that drove by it. And, you know, there was so much information coming in the other day, like as far as we saw Brian, we saw the van, this person saw the van, this person saw Brian, and everything was coming at us full force that, like, honestly, when I saw this on Twitter, I kind of just scrolled on by it, right? I'm like, yeah, sure. I'm sure you saw the van. which joke's on me now because they really did find the van, right? But you know, what was I gonna say? So basically, these people did the right thing as good citizens, and they didn't go clout chasing. They handed it to the FBI, and if it were not for them, what I'm trying to get to is if it were not for them, who knows if we ever would have found her, right? Because you got to remember, right? And she was out there in the wilderness. I don't want to get too graphic about what could have happened, maybe happened, the way the remains, how they were left, what they found when they got there, what they didn't find when they got there, you know what I'm saying, guys? But if we didn't get to Gabby when they did, right? Who knows? We might never have found her. And the fact that people like, oh, big deal, they passed it in. No, it is a really big deal for them. It is. It's a huge deal because you got to understand how vast this area is, right? It is so vast. So many trees, I mean, look at where Brian is, right? He's in an area where it's like, I forget how big they said today. I was listening to something. They were saying like the acres or however. I was like, wow, they're never going to find him. They showed a helicopter flying over where Brian was, and it's just trees and swamp and whatever, like gross. So yeah, so they're never going to find him. But anyways, so I wish we knew, well, I know they can't share all the details and I get that, but I wish they knew how it was a homicide investigation, it's just really sad. It makes you wonder, like if the van, so what I'm getting at is the van was parked where the orange drop is, right? And her body was found over where that white arrow is. Okay. So from what I understand, what I'm told, that's like a mile away. Okay. So I was listening to a channel today. It's actually a retired FBI detective. He has a channel. He's actually a really cool dude. Thank you, Jody. Sending just because you called KJ out. Thank you. I'm in a really awkward position because I used to cover her a real lot and I still do sometimes. And, I kind of veered into this Gabby thing because I'm like emotionally attached to it. And, I don't want to make it about KJ because it's not about her because that's what she wants it to be. But at the same time, I want to just be like, you know what I'm saying, guys? You people who have been here, right? Jody, thank you very much for your super chat. I appreciate it. So it puts me in a really weird place because I don't want to give her what she wants kind of thing. But at the same time, bad behavior needs to be called out. Really weird thing, But thanks, Jody. I know you get what I'm trying to say. So is Brian still a person of interest? Can we just do away with that whole quote person of interest thing? It's called a suspect, like John Walsh said this morning. You guys already know, right? Suspect, suspecto, suspicious, suspect. I don't think we're ever gonna find him. I really don't. Something tells me they're just on a wild goose chase. I don't think they'll find him. I hope they do. I wish they do. I mean, I don't want him to get away, but something is just telling me that. I don't know, man. I don't know. And if it does come out that his parents did have something to do with it, oh man, they're going to be screwed, right? So Strawberry, first name Straw, last name Berry says, Nancy Gray said once he's classified as suspect, he's granted tons of constitutional rights that we don't want him to have. Oh, isn't that interesting? No kidding. And thank you for saying that, Strawberry, and thank you for the super chat. Now, wow, okay. Really? That's interesting because I've heard all kinds of things we heard John Walsh this morning, right? And we heard, and I'm trying to think of the channel. Let me look it up that I was at. The retired detectives there who talked about this and stuff. They were like, it's just called a suspect. There is no difference. But if Nancy Grace says it, I believe it, man. And speaking of Nancy Grace, I really, really wanted to watch her show last night. Everybody told me she was talking about Gabby and Brian and stuff, right? But I kept trying to find it and I couldn't. Is it like some kind of podcast you have to pay for? Like, what's up with it? It said it was Fox, but I could not find the Nancy Grace thing. Does anybody know? You could tell me in the chat. I like Nancy Grace. I know some people hate that lady's guts. They think she's crazy, a psycho, the vein in her forehead. They make fun of it. Like, I like Nancy Grace. I always have, right? I always have. The Rev Rick, like a Rev Run's brother, Rev Rick. He's got a Jeep. Okay. All right. Good work. South of Boston here. Oh, hey, neighbor. Hoot 3's our neighbor. We got a couple Boston neighbors up in here. Nice to have you here. Thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yep, I appreciate that. Jody Arias hates Nancy Grace. Oh, I bet she does. Who cares who Jody Arias hates, right? That trash bag. I can't believe she is going to be an investigator. She thinks she is. I hate Nancy Grace, so I will leave. Well, I'm not playing Nancy Grace. We don't got to agree on everything, but I hate to see you go, but all right, bye, you know. Katie Joy, are you serious? Yes, as in Katie Joy, yes. Yep. And listen, I am serious, and it's crazy because when somebody told me that, right? When somebody told me that, I was like, they're joking. There's no way. There's no way that she would do that. But I don't know why I said that to myself, but I did. But no, I'm not kidding, and I'm not playing. She really did do that, right? I watched some WFLA today too, Seagate. Definitely did. Definitely did. Let's see. Nancy Grace got into reporting on true crime because her fiance was murdered when she was young. Isn't that a fun fact, Stina? Thank you for sharing that. I think I heard that a long time ago, but I definitely forgot. Thanks for reminding me. Yep, pretty cool. Kind of like how John Walsh, the dude we watched earlier, he lost his son. His son was a missing person, and he turned his pain that he has from missing his son and what happened to his son into passion, right? And sometimes pain can just make us passionate people, and good things can come of it, right? So it seems like Nancy Grace's pain from her, her fiance being murdered when she was young turned into her passion, And those are the most passionate people, man. The ones who can relate. Do you know what I mean? Because they know what it feels like, right? They know what it feels like. They'll find him. I believe they'll not stop till he's found. I feel bad for the men and women who are out there right now in that swampy, disgusting, like, water area. I heard they were in places where the water was up to 4 feet deep. Okay? 4 feet. 4 feet. Hold on. Tamra says, let me go back up here. Actually, let me get my phone. It's easier to look at my chat on YouTube instead of StreamYard. Let me see what I'm supposed to look at here. So that's interesting to think about, right? So maybe they refrained from calling him that because of the fact he would have constitutional rights they didn't want him to have or something. I don't know. But it makes you wonder, right? I think that yesterday or off the rip they knew it was Gabby, right? And because you got to remember something. Brian's lawyer canceled this morning. Remember how he was going to talk? And have like a little press thing? Then all of a sudden last night, he's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do it. After talking to the FBI, I'm not going to do it. I wonder what they talked about. Maybe the FBI said this. Maybe the FBI said to him, look, dude, tomorrow we're going to talk about this being a homicide investigation. So, yeah, you picked a hell of a day to go talk to the public. You know what I'm saying? He was probably, or the lawyer knew that today was going to be, we were all going to be told it's a homicide investigation. He was like, nah, F that. These people are going to eat me alive. I don't want to talk to the press. Do you know what I mean? Do you guys think that? Just wondering. I've been trying to ponder why, right? I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be looking for a comment. Let me go back up. You know me. La-ti-da. All right. KJ commented to Gabby's parents that she was on the case. Lord of mercy. Was like Chase is on the case like Paw Patrol. Oh, God. Okay, I'm not going to flip a desk, okay? I'm just not going to flip the desk. Not today, not tomorrow. Nope, no flipping desks, okay? If you're new here, I have a saying. As all you new people are starting to pick up on my sayings. You got the shady palm tree. I have flip a desk. I have own the nasty. I have someone needs to tell you I will be the one. I don't know. I am just a quote machine, right? But the only Tammy, your comment's so funny, but I can't put it on the screen. But it is pretty funny. Everybody go look at Tammy's comment. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I don't care. I don't even like this lady. Anyways, now that that's out of the way. Todd, come get your girl, right? Did you get my message about AB? No. I did not. You guys, I have so many, because I've been so invested in this case, right? For like a couple of days now. I mean, I've never gone live this much in my life. I mean, you'd be lucky if you get a video from me once a week, honestly, before. But now that my daughter's been back to school for a couple weeks, but I've been just looking for something to talk about, something to be passionate about, right? Something to care about, something I can sink my teeth into that I can actually get behind, right? And this was it, man. This was definitely it. And I'm like checking every little updates. I just want this dude to be caught. I want her to get justice, just like any other missing person, right? And like I said earlier, man, it's frustrating because everyone's like, oh, it's because she's a little white blonde girl. Everybody wants to talk about. I don't think that's it at all, actually. I really don't. I think they had the markings of a great story because she documented her adventure. She was with the person she loved on a cool road trip. And, we all got a map for this investigation to play armchair detective. Like, it's the marking of a story that unfolds before your eyes in such a sense where everybody puts everything on social media that they love, that they want people to see, but they don't tell you the dark side of their lives, right? So I think it's a really important message too to remember, like, nothing you see on social media is as it seems. All right, so we got SJ here, and SJ, the little doggy standing up in the picture. I like it. I know it seems it's not possible right now, but I promise you they'll get him for the sheer fact of this country's surveillance capabilities. Now, that's a great point, SJ, right? I watched a video yesterday that was from an FBI agent. Was he a former one? Or I don't know. It was on one of the news channels. They had a guest on, you know what I mean? And they were saying, look, facial surveillance or facial recognition is definitely real, but because more and more people are wearing masks now, again, right, that might pose a problem. Because think about it. If I wanted to hide, right, having a face mask on actually would only help me hide, right? So when you walk to the store, I don't know about where you guys live, but in Massachusetts here, when I go to the store, half the people in there have the mask, half don't, because we don't have to wear them now, right? We don't have to wear them, but some people still choose to, which is fine. It's their prerogative, right? But I hope so. I hope that's it. Because let's put it this way, guys. If he is out there in those woods, he's got to come out sooner or later. He can't, I don't think he can live off that land, okay? What's he going to eat for dinner next week? Crocodile? I don't think so. No name. My guess is Brian is already dead in Florida Reserve. Thanks for helping me follow the case from across the pond. Over yonder. Well, thank you, No Name, very much. I'm always blown away when people tell me they're like in a different country, or it's so cool to know that we can all connect on the same topic of interest and talk with like-minded people, and at the click of a button, right? Yeah, he's gonna have crocodile for breakfast and alligator for lunch and freaking anaconda for dessert. I don't know, dude. He's gonna get hungry sooner or later. He is. He's gonna get hungry, And I was also, because I'm so interested in this, I'm like, okay, so let's say, remember how they took all the computers and hard drives from the parents' house and stuff? I wonder if during all that time, if he was in the house mapping out his runaway, maybe his dad was helping him map it out on the runaway. And but then again, I'm like, what would like, let's say you were trying to help somebody pack up to disappear into the Carlton Reserve. I mean, like, how much food could one carry with them, and for how long would it last? You know what I'm saying? Like, eventually, if he is in there hiding, like, he's gonna have to come out, right? I mean, I don't know. I was just thinking of all that stuff, Like, maybe that's why they wanted their computers, to see if they were, buying supplies from Amazon. Who knows, right? SJ says, I completely agree on masks, but he has to be on the run. Long term, it's not sustainable. Logistically, exactly. Yes, SJ. Very true, right? Very true. And that's a tough terrain he's in out there, boy. That wet, swampy, yuck muck. He ain't got probably no phone. There ain't no internet surfing out there. Well, according to some sleuths, they think he is internet surfing. They think he's making Spotify stuff. But like I said, I don't have Spotify. Brian will need money. Family accounts probably being watched. I know, Sherry. What did they do? Did they go to the bank and take out a bunch of cash and hand it to him before he left? Like, I try to play that out in my head, right? Like, what would he need? How would they go about this? But let's put it this way: what is homeboy gonna walk out of the swamp with a wad of cash and just roll up in a convenience store, walking all dirty, sweaty, swampy, smelling like alligator or whatever the hell it is, and they're not gonna realize it's him? Everybody in that whole state is looking for that dude. So that's why that doesn't really, I don't know. I'm just thinking of every scenario. I just think out loud here while I talk, but a lot of people think he's already gone. See, I don't. I don't think he offed himself. Okay, guys, I don't. Okay. No way. No way. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off what I'm saying, but listen, one of your commenters just said, Meriship, T-Spiracy. Someone on the Fox News channel comment said Stan from Gabby's grandfather text means send the authorities now. But did she really have a grandfather named Stan, though? It sounded kind of like she did, right? Her mother said she would never call her grandfather that. So that must be her name, right? Now you got me thinking, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't think Brian would kill himself, you guys, because usually selfish men who hurt women, because we all heard that 911 call, that changed my whole perception, right? The new 911 call, all right, where the dude says, yes, he's hitting her, yes, he's slapping her, right? If he's one of those like Napoleon complex little punks who is insecure, doesn't let his girl go out, whatever it is, right? He's very insecure. Any dude that doesn't let their girlfriend go out with their friend there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry, and it happens all the time. But I really feel like he wouldn't have enough balls to hurt himself. That's just my opinion, though. I could very well be wrong, right? But Stan is a good safe word for kids, and I can totally see why people are saying that, right? That's really interesting. I'm definitely going to look into that. Now I'm starting to wonder. We were talking about earlier, too, I don't know if you were here, but how parents have a safe word with their children, right? I had one when I was little with my mom. I still remember what it is, right? And she would tell me, you can't tell anybody what the word is, and you only use it if you're ever in danger, and you can't tell me you're in danger because you're scared, right? And I thought when this case got brought up and people were commenting and people were like, oh, safe word, safe. And I'm like, that's such a great idea because I have a 5-year-old daughter and I'm going to do that with her. And I saw some of you in comments saying you were going to do it too, right? But now I'm starting to really wonder if Stan really is her grandfather's name because her mother referenced it in the report that I read as if it was, right? Yeah. The Eminem song, I know. I thought of it too, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Yeah, so what else was I gonna say? Oh, you know what I haven't mentioned at all during all the talking I've done about all this, guys? About the beautiful rainbows. I'm sure most of you know, right? The beautiful rainbows that appeared after they found Gabby's body. That was wild. There was one in Florida and where they found her at the same time, I heard. At the same time. How crazy is that? What a beautiful symbolic moment that was, right? I don't know, for those of you who don't have Twitter or don't use Facebook, you might not have seen them, but there were beautiful rainbows in both areas of where she was. That's just beautiful. I really hope that, her parents look at that as some sort of symbol, to try to ease their pain. All right, Shyla says, in the body cam footage, Brian really seemed to be under the influence. Seemed like maybe he had some kind of stimulant or something, maybe. And, Shyla, the officer does even say to him at one point, like, are you on anything? You gonna take medication? I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but he alluded to the fact that Brian looked nervous, right? But it's hard for me to, thank you for the sticker, by the way. I mean, for the super chat. It's hard for me to really judge him based off that, because lots of people get kind of shaky and nervous when the police are there. Do you know what I mean? Plus, he was in a high, I'm not sticking up for him. I'm just trying to like think of all scenarios as usual, because trust me, I don't like Brian, dirty laundry. I don't. But when you're around the police and you just go to argue with your girlfriend and whatever it is, like, people don't normally act like their everyday selves. It's a stressful situation. You're nervous, you're scared, you know. He seems kind of shy, so I think that added to the ability of him looking nervous. I don't know. I would like to see his baseline like we talked about the other day. And, you know, a lot of people think that, though. I mean, a lot of people think that he was definitely sketchy. Sketchy. It's hard to look at that and not be biased, though. Like, I just can't. I can't do it. I'll be the first one to tell you. I'm biased as F watching that footage. I am. Knowing what we know now, I can't not be, right? I don't know, Shiloh, but I'll have to look at it again, because I really only watched it that day. I mean, I've seen clips here and there, but now you got me thinking that I want to watch it again. Yeah, high adrenaline, exactly. I know when I get high adrenaline, I just cry, even if I'm not sad, right? Like in high school, when I would like get into fights and stuff, I would just start crying just because of the adrenaline. So every situation has people, you know, react differently. How do we know she died? Well, they found her. They found her. Yep, they found her. Do you think he has an ex-girlfriend nearby hiding him? Tao Tran, you know, I guess anything's possible. I mean, he's been with Gabby for 2.5 years, so it would have had to been a really from a while ago, you know. That's what I was thinking too, though, Tao. I was thinking about like who would now. Oh, last night they did go into his sister's house. From what I understand, they showed up. There's been news. I'm like, how do they know she did? Who are there? People watching his sister's house? I guess she lives either 35 minutes or 35 miles, 35 something away from Brian and his parents. Okay, so apparently news reporters have been just chilling outside of the sister's house this whole time, probably. So yesterday afternoon, a little while after the parents' house raid there, they went to the sister's house. And I think I read one article that said they took out a couple of electronics or something. So maybe they're trying to see if, like, maybe they were trying to see if, and they went inside, obviously. They were trying to see if he was in there maybe, or if she's been talking to him, you know? So I wonder about that, I do. You think he was put on a boat? Anaya says, please go watch Dr. Mathis. Is the forensic psychologist analyzing the police body cam footage? I sent you a link Saturday on Instagram. Okay, Anaya, I'm sorry. I've been so inundated with messages and links, and I can't even keep up. It's bad enough when I'm here and procrastinating my everyday life. I'm like, that's what I was started to say earlier. I've been so invested in this case and just figuring this out that, like, I've neglected my laundry, like everything, all that stuff, right? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it later. Just gonna watch one more video. Oh my God, it's so bad. But thank you very much. I'll check that out for sure. I've never heard of Dr. Mathis, so I'm always down to listen to new perspectives. So thank you. A lot of people have been sending me a lot of stuff, but that sounds like a good one. A forensic psychologist. That sounds like a good one. Okay, Willow's cause of death. Yeah, cause of death will take a lot of time, toxicology and other threats, you know. Yeah, the elements and whatnot. I know. Sailor V. You know, not that this is funny, but it is kind of funny. AZ got dirty laundry. Hey, you know what? If we didn't laugh, we would lose our minds, right? We have to laugh. So, Noelle, we don't know the cause of death, but we do know it was a homicide. That was what I can't talk. That is what was released today. Okay, so thank you for your super chat. But we don't know the cause. We just know homicide, right? We probably won't know the cause for a while. But this says a lot, right? Because a lot of people were like, you know, you don't know if she like killed herself or whatever. She might have. Well, now we know she didn't. Okay, so there's that. You know, I just keep thinking back to the beginning of this, how people were like, you know, Brian's innocent and maybe she hurt herself. Well, now look, we got the phone call. She didn't hurt her. She didn't have nothing. She was being abused, right? And now look, right? It's a homicide. So, I mean, a girl goes missing, the dude won't help, he lawyers up. Hello. You don't need to be an expert to see something not right here. Oh, we got a new member. Dr. Debo Cherry. Is that our Debo Cherry? Cherry? Can I just call you Cherry? Hi, Cherry. Thank you for becoming a member. Or Dr. Debo, I don't know. I'm really bad at like pronouncing names, but thank you for becoming a member. I feel like the police has been making a lot of statements since all this has started, but no, they never put anything important out there. Yeah, they really can't, Liliana, because if they do, then it can give Brian a heads up, right? They can't really tell us everything, and that's what I have to remind myself sometimes because I get frustrated. I'm like, why don't they tell us? But they can't. And today I was thinking too, when they had the helicopters out in the swamp looking for Brian, I'm like, wouldn't it be some crazy stuff if he left with like a bunch of batteries for like a cell phone, right? And his mom and dad were calling him from their burner cell phones, and they were like, yeah, just so you know, they're on the north side, about 4 miles deep, so don't go over there, go over here. Like, because the news shows where the helicopters are. Imagine if someone was telling him where to go, where not to go, It's just crazy. You makes you wonder, because now you can take off into the wilderness and bring a bunch of those battery packs with you and still have a battery, right? I did that when I was camping because I was going way out. And I knew I wanted to take videos and stuff way out in the woods in New Hampshire, and I brought 2 battery packs with me, right? But think he'd have to carry food, battery packs, clothes, who knows, right? Let's see. Yes, homicide is the killing of a person by another. They'll never find him, in my opinion, Clara says. Clara, I don't think they will either. I'll be surprised. Seven, I'm in recovery too, and I did pick up on that, and I did read a comment that made me think of that even more, okay? Because of the reason that somebody said, yeah, I think they're coming down from something, and that's why they're fighting, and I went, oh my God, that explains why Brian was a little sketchy, right? It crossed my mind too, it definitely crossed my mind, but you're a counselor, you would know, right? You've seen it all. Easy, they must know the cause of death, because how do you know it's a homicide if you don't know the cause of death? Well, you put it this way. You can find somebody who is deceased and sleeping, right? And hold on, let me give you another example. There can be, you can tell if somebody killed themselves, right? Or you can tell, like, for example, if she had a big gash, I don't want to get graphic, but if she had a big gash on the back of her head, right? Like if her head was beaten in the back, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously she didn't do that herself. So that would be somebody else doing it to her, therefore homicide. You know what I'm trying to say? It wasn't a natural cause of death. It's not like she had a heart attack or whatever. Like that means that they were able to tell that she was not the one who did that to herself. That's what that tells me anyways. I'm no expert, but I think that it appeared to be that it was somebody else who hurt her, That's what comes to mind. I haven't even gotten into that deep thought yet. I'm going to try not to, because it's disturbing, but I haven't even pondered it. But I don't know. There's probably a million other ways. It's crazy to think of how they did it too, right? Because she's been out there for so long. And not only did the coroner go there once, the coroner had to keep going back. And that tells me that, that they were looking for other stuff that was connected. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's disturbing. It is. It's a sad reality, man. It's just the sad reality of it all. I just subscribed to your channel. Well, welcome, Trent. Thank you for coming to my channel. But that's all, guys. I just want to come on and talk that over with you, man. We have started, a lot of you have been here with me on this journey, like literally since the day, like all this stuff kind of broke. And yeah, we're going to keep going through it until something happens, man. I want answers, If she did die herself, where'd that go? Hold on. If she did it to herself, why would you run and not call? If she did it to herself. Exactly. They're saying, oh, well, I think what some people meant is like maybe Brian broke up with her and went home and she was so sad that she just couldn't take it anymore. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what they mean when they say that. But I had to think about that for a second. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna. Why you? Am I taking? Do you want to call in? Sure. Let me drop the link real quick. I seen somebody ask. Okay. I'll talk for a little bit. Your husband was a homicide detective for 32 years. Wow, Kelly. Wow, he must be really smart. Wow. I love listening to detectives talk. Tell him he should start his own YouTube channel. That's what I was listening to today. Oh, speaking of, I was trying to tell you guys the homicide detective I was listening to today. He was really, really, really interesting. Let me see. Let me go in my history here. Pretty sure I subscribed to him, but let me go in my history. Hold on 1 second, Princess. I see you knocking on the door backstage. Okay, we got Princess here, and we got Gourmet Thursday. Hello, Princess and Gourmet Thursday. 1 second, Princess. I see you knocking on the door backstage. Okay. Oh, somebody has their
Okay,
we got on the back here, and we got Gourmet Thursday. Hello, Princess and Gourmet Thursday. Oh, I had to mute Gourmet Thursday, and we got Gourmet Thursday. No. Hello, Princess and Gourmet Thursday. Okay, I had to mute both of them because they must have. I think they both have my channel on in the background. You have to shut off YouTube and only use StreamYard, or else it'll create like a crazy echo, right? So I'm gonna give both of you a second to do that before I unmute you, because oh, Gourmet Thursday's unmuted. Okay, you must have unmuted yourself.
I
Hello.
unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
There we go. Now you guys sound better. Hello.
Hello.
Has anyone seen Mario?
Oh, Mario, the princess.
Hey, Mario!
Mario, did they get to the castle?
Yeah, they got the grand prize.
Dude, Bowser didn't get in the way, did he?
No, well, it was a battle.
Yeah, did you have to hit him 3 times?
3 times in the head, and there was a bunch of coins that popped out of his ass.
Okay. That's good, man. That's good to hear. I mean, I'm really glad that you called.
You have a great day.
Oh my God, Gourmet Thursday. 1 second. Let me just explain this. Okay, guys. Ever since I went live with this case, this person has been calling in just to say hi, and it's just really random. But anyways, hi, Gourmet Thursday.
Hi, I'm a new subscriber. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Really?
Okay, good. I'm kind of new to this. I have so many thoughts about this case, and just like you, I'm completely obsessed and watching everything I can and trying to piece it together. I'm mapping it out. I'm, writing things down. And anyway, hopefully I can just tell you like some thoughts and then like some things that I'm trying to understand, and maybe you can give me your thoughts about it. But so like for instance with the timeline, right? So on the 12th of August, they get stopped by the police because of this whole big violent fight that they had. And in the body cam video, you can hear him say that they have been in the area for about a week prior, and that they camped or they went camping in this like precious arches or whatever it's called, delicate arches, the day before, and they were going back to get water, which explains why they're heading to the arches around 6:45 p.m. or 4:45 p.m.
Right.
Anyway, so okay, and this is just my opinion. But after that fight, the cops separated them, but I do believe that he was a controlling, abusive person and that there was domestic violence. And the fact that they got separated, I think that he went back to find her that night and she was with those two women, or, I think they knew those two women that got killed the next day.
Right, right.
And I think that they were protecting her and like trying to keep him away from her. I think he was really in a rage and it made them scared. And that's why they told people that there was this creepy guy in the area and they were afraid that he'd murder them, because I really do think that he went into a real serious rage that night. And I think that Gabby was breaking up with him. I think she had it. That was her last straw. She was, in fear, which is so understandable for a girl that's 22 who now is in a police car and she might get arrested and he's laughing about it. And so I really think that kind of sent him over to the dark side.
Right.
And I think that he was so freaking pissed off that night of the 12th that on the 13th, he found those women. And if you look at the map, I mean, it's just so eerie. If you map all these places out, they're all very close to each other because those
they're all
women,
so close. Yeah, they're all really close.
Yeah,
Really, really
because
close.
because they spent a lot of time in the Canyonlands. And Canyonlands is also near Warner Lake, and the two women were found near Warner Lake, shot. And reading about it, it was near their campsite. So to me, like, it makes sense that they had met these women in their travels, probably hung out with them. That's why they were at the cooperative that
Let me ask
day.
you something. What day did their murder happen on? Because those women, because I can't even remember. Do you
So
remember?
the last time that they were seen was coming out of Woody's Tavern, which was on Main Street.
Right.
And remember, the police took him to Bowen Motel. Bowen Motel was just a few blocks away from Woody's Tavern. So the last time they were seen was on the 13th at 9:30 p.m. And their bodies were found on the 18th, but they went missing. Nobody saw them after the 13th. Their bodies were found near their campsite, near Warner Lake, which was near the Canyonlands, where Gabby and Brian were camping.
So do you think that Gabby knew about what he did, if that's the case?
Well, this is where it gets a little fuzzy, where we don't know. So assuming I'm right, and I don't know, but this is what I think, because I think it makes sense. I think he shot them. He does have a gun. We know he has a gun. And we know he, draws pictures with guns and violent pictures and all this stuff. So I do believe he probably did take a gun on this trip. Anyway, so they were found shot near their campsite, which was near the Canyonlands, which is probably near a campsite that Gabby and Brian were familiar with. And so then where it gets mysterious is like, so this probably happened at nighttime, possibly that night of the 13th. But we don't know or hear anything from Gabby after the 12th, right? Because there's a couple of Instagram pictures on the 12th of him, but we don't hear anything anymore from her on Instagram. So
sorry, I have to mute myself, so I can't when you say something, I can't be like, yes, yes, yes. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
that's okay.
I'm just telling you, like, because
That's
it'll
okay.
echo, so I have to leave myself on mute, and I don't want you to think I'm not interested in what you're saying. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it. But if at any point that you don't agree with me, or you're questioning, or you have a different opinion, just speak up, because I'm trying to like piece this all together in my mind, so that it makes sense. So between the 14th and the 26th, we don't know really what's going on with Gabby. And there's this talk about him taking a trip back to, or flight back to Florida, like on the 17th and coming back on the 23rd. And she's staying in a hotel in Salt Lake City for those days. And nobody talks about ever hearing from her during this time frame when she's alone and and she has access to a phone, she has access to computers, she has access to people. So I actually asked one of these cops, Judy Ron, I asked his opinion about that because that's very
Oh my God,
mysterious to
that's
me.
who I was trying to think of today.
That's who I thought you were
That's
talking about.
exactly who I was trying to think of. Duty
Yeah.
Ron. I'm over here like, what is the guy's name?
Yeah.
That's who I was trying to think of. Okay.
So his response to my question about like why wouldn't she have reached out to anybody during a time when he's gone, and he says that law enforcement never verified that flight ever happened, and he doesn't believe that Brian actually took that flight, which to me makes sense because I can't see another scenario where Gabby is in a hotel, not going out on the town, not talking to anybody, not posting pictures. I mean, he probably took her phone if he did, but still, she'd have access to a hotel computer, or be able to talk to somebody. So it's very mysterious, like what was going on between the two of them during that time frame before he killed her. I do believe, though, that during that time frame, she was like, I'm not getting back with you. We're not, I'm done with you. We need to finish this trip. I want to go home. And I think he was probably begging her to stay. And when he realized that she wasn't coming back to him, he no longer saw her as a person he loved anymore. I think that he loathed her, and that's why he was able to shoot her with, little feelings for her. And I believe, we don't know what the manner of death was, right? But if it comes back that she was shot, then I am 101% convinced that he killed those other two women. I'm already 100% convinced, but I will be more convinced that he killed them if it comes back that she was shot. Because that's what he did to them, and they were also found by a creek, similar to Gabby. So, not that, I don't know if that means anything.
All right. So, I mean, see, this is why I stopped questioning it, because I heard that they made a release that it wasn't related. But what I just read here, it says that they're not ruling it out. So I don't know why I've got two different things on that. Yeah, it says they're not ruling it out. Now, for those
Do you know why I think they're saying that?
Why?
Because I think that it is related, and they don't want to say that because they're trying not to scare him into committing suicide. They want it to be like he's just a person of interest. The case is not related. He can come out. He's not in trouble in any kind of way, because they don't want him. They want him to come forward. And if he thinks that he's got 3 murder cases on him, that's gonna, more likely he will kill himself.
So do you think that that's why they're saying like, oh, he's not a suspect, he's just a person of interest, blah, blah, blah. Interesting. Now what everyone keeps saying, like, first of all, I have someone backstage unblock Pepper. Pepper, weren't you the guy who called in? Tell me in the chat. Are you blocked in my chat or something? Is that why your name is Unblock Pepper now? Do you need me to unblock me? Tell me in the chat, okay? I'll let you up in a second. Just give me a second. So what was I going to say? All right, so do you think that that's why? Wow. Okay. Well, here's the thing. Okay, about the gun. That's what I wanted to ask you about. You seem to know more about this couple than I do, in this whole gun thing, right? So everyone says Brian has a gun. Brian has a gun. When I ran his stuff on Ben Verified, granted, I am not like, I don't have extra software or something, but I didn't see any registered guns. Not every state like puts it out as public, I think, but usually it comes up on Ben Verified, right? For licenses and stuff like that. Like if he had a gun license, I'm pretty sure it would come up. And nothing came up for his name, right? But that doesn't mean he doesn't have one. That I know that, right? But what makes where does this gun thing come from with Brian, by the way? Can you explain that to me? Do you know?
So, well, so a couple things. One is I believe Florida is kind of a gun, kind of a pro-gun state.
Yeah, like
Number
Texas.
one.
Yeah.
Two, if you look at his artwork, there's a lot of like death, and there's a few pictures where guns are involved. So he's kind of got a violent mentality already. Then I was watching a video just today where they were showing some pictures of, do you remember the picture of like that couple, the red, white, and Bethune, when they passed the van? And then there were some people who like really honed in on that van, and they saw like flip-flops in the back, and they saw like what looked like a book, and then something on top of the book.
Right. Yep.
They really honed in on that book. And there's a picture of Gabby that's holding a gun, and then that looks like that on the book. It kind of looks like a gun on that book when they get a real close-up of that image. So that's why I'm just kind of putting like 2 and 2 together. I don't think that
I think everyone is just believing, and I don't know why, because they haven't been truthful about much else. The police, everyone's like, oh, they already said it's not true. They already said it's not true. Well, if the stuff they're telling us turns out to be a lie, then what about the stuff they're not telling us? It's probably a huge part of the story. And you know what? You might be right. What are they not telling us? And you're right. Maybe they're doing it so they don't scare him away. Well, if that's their plan, it didn't really work so good. But
yeah, exactly. And I think you're exactly right that they can't tell us a lot of things that we want to know, because if we start talking about it, which we would, that would give Brian possibly more information, or scare him off, or something.
That's why I can't understand why they like film where the helicopters are, where the search team is. They're like, oh yeah, the men and women are over there in this marshy field looking. It's like, what if you really wanted to help him and he really was out there, couldn't somebody tell him that? Like, I don't know if you heard me saying, like, with the battery packs and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? But Spastic here in the comments said they sent me something on Twitter, so I'm gonna hop over to Twitter. So if you want to keep talking, you can. I'm just going to hop over to Twitter. I'm listening to everything you're saying.
Yeah. And again, this is just me trying to like make sense of the whole situation. And these things make sense to me. Another thing about this video that I was watching earlier, and I'm trying to think who the channel name was, but there were other images that the FBI posted about the crime scene where Gabby was found. And they had kind of put red marks on like this fallen log that they said looked like gunshot holes in the log. So, another
Are you talking, hold on, the log of where she was found in that area? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was like a tree. There was like a tree that had fallen down or something.
Hold on.
And they saw like bullet holes in the tree.
Oh, there was bullet holes in a tree. So you're not talking about the orange markers. By the way, Spastic, I got your picture. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Thank you so much for sending me that. How convenient, right?
They did seem to spray paint those holes though. So there were some like orangish markers where the holes were. So, if that's what you're talking about. So it looks like that's one of the things. So it'll be interesting to see, the way she died. Like, how was it that she died? And I'm telling you, if it was a gunshot, then those two women are related. The other reason I think that it's related to, and again, they're not telling us because they don't want to scare him off. See, that's the gun that they're saying she's holding. And then if you look closely, look at the shape of that thing on the book. It looks exactly the shape of what she's holding right there.
Dude, I haven't even seen this. Are you kidding me? What?
Right?
What? Let me zoom in even better on that. Hold on.
Yeah. Right?
That is so crazy. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't even seen this photo. I saw the flip flops in the photo, right?
Yeah.
But I definitely didn't see that.
Yeah. I just saw this whole thing earlier today, and I was just like, oh, because at first I was like, oh, that looks like a gun on the book. And then when I looked at Gabby, I was like, wait, that looks like a gun in her hand too. And then that's what they were talking about. So
now I'm not a gun expert. Does anyone in the chat know? What is that? Is that like a 22? Like what? I don't know. 45. I don't know gun numbers. Okay, 99. What kind of gun is this? Somebody tell me.
I don't know. I'm not a gun person either.
I know, right?
The other reason why I think that the two women are related to this case is because it's already been communicated to that community out in Moab that nobody's in danger, you know. So it's like they already know who the person is for them to say no one's in danger, you know, everybody can go on, you know. That means that they know or they have a good idea who did this and why nobody else is in danger. Because if it's Brian's probably not in the area anymore. So that's why everybody's safe. But not that people in Florida or wherever he is, I don't think anybody around him is safe at this point because this guy is desperate. You know, he's alone. He's in hiding. He's probably hungry. He's wet. He walks around barefoot. I mean, I don't know. He's got calluses. Who knows what his problem is at this point? But
he's eating alligators. He's having anaconda for dinner. Yeah. I mean, you just never really know.
Right. And I think because this case is like so mysterious and so dramatic, I don't think that he's killed himself at this point. But I do think that if they find him and they don't find him in the right way, he'll kill himself like before they actually arrest him. You know, like he'll make it a dramatic ending for himself if they can't just snatch him up before he gets an opportunity to kill himself. So I just wish. So anyway, I feel like, you know, I kind of have, and I feel like I know why he killed her. I feel like I know why he killed those women. I feel like I know how he did it, but I just don't understand the time period between, you know, the 14th and like the 26th, because she probably died somewhere between the 25th and the 27th. So maybe the 26th.
Right.
I don't know why she wasn't able to communicate with anybody at all. And then that picture of her like at in Ogden, Utah, where the butterflies were, like she just looks happy. She, you know, I don't know, there's just something off with how kind of, you know, fine she looks during that day, but things were so messed up by this point in time between the two of them. Right. So, and then why was she in high heels and a skirt, you know, when the whole time they're camping out? Like it's not all that consistent with, you know, people who live in a van. But then why else would she be in Ogden, Utah?
Because the people in the chat, right? I see all you guys saying they said it's not related. They said it's not related. I saw that too. But as of yesterday, they started telling people that they're not ruling it out. That's why I was kind of confused too. That's why when Thursday here, I'll call you Thursday. When Thursday here started talking, I'm like, I thought they ruled that out like for sure, right? So when I started Googling it, I tried to find the newest report, right? And the newest one says they're not ruling it out. I'm not saying like you guys are wrong. I'm just saying like that's what it says. So, yeah. You know, I thought that too. I did, yeah. But I think they may have changed that. And like Tracy says, they are also allowed to lie, right? So it, when you got somebody kind of lying, but who knows?
Yeah.
But
and again,
so
they don't want to scare him.
I'm gonna mute
right?
myself. Sorry, go ahead. I was just
well,
gonna mute myself because it's like a crazy echo if I don't mute myself for some reason. It's weird.
Yeah, that's okay. And I'll just finish up now. I know I'm talking long because I'm like totally obsessed too with this case. But if you go and even if you just do a quick like Google Maps, and you just go like, well, they were in Canyonlands at first, and then they went to Moab, and then, on the 13th, they kill somebody at Warner Lake. If you just look at that whole area, it's very it's just too coincidental that they were all around together, all in this close vicinity at the same time. And it's clear that they knew this girl. These are van lifers, two couples living in a van, camping in the same area, hanging out at the other person's job for hours. It's very possible Brian was getting jealous of the fact that Gabby was making friends with these two ladies. They were probably beginning to be friends. And Brian apparently didn't like her to have friends. So
and not
that
only
could
that,
have been part of the.
You gotta remember too, they were lesbians, and he was probably like, I don't want them to steal my girl. No, really. And I'm not saying this to be funny. Like, I'm not saying this to be funny, you guys.
Possibly.
Guys are crazy, for real, for real.
Yeah. And he was very militant, right? I mean, there are people who said they ran into him. He wouldn't drink water out of a plastic bottle, even in the hot sun, in the desert, just because it was in a plastic bottle. He wasn't going to drink it. And, he didn't like that one TikToker guy who said he ran into him and he didn't like Southerners or Republicans or whatever, and he hated humans and all this stuff.
Yeah, what's really, really weird about him? I thought that was strange too, and we've never really talked about it here on my channel anyways, like, about how he was like, no, I don't drink bottled water. Like, what? And then I caught Brian talking about some kind of, something, I forget the name of it, but it's some kind of like land where they like fertilize and recycle and whatever. When he was like shooting the crap with the officer, they were talking about it. It was some strange name and I can't remember, but yeah, what kind of dude like doesn't drink bottled water? Like, they didn't even have any water. They were probably thirsty, and he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna pass." Yeah, he's just strange. That was strange to me. I'm sorry, it was.
Yeah, and he's like, because I don't like plastic bottles. I mean, he was just very kind of very militant about his beliefs. Even, and you could tell there were a couple of posts in his Instagram where you could tell that Gabby wasn't too happy about the fact that he would hike barefoot. And he even said in the body cam that she didn't like that he's dirty and he's got dirty feet and she's clean and all this stuff. Of course, who's going to like that? He was a freaking ape. His last post was like, humans are nothing but a bunch of apes. We're the great apes and we're primates and all this. This guy sees himself as an ape, and he really does belong in a cage. Not that all apes belong in a cage, but he does. But anyway, so I could just totally see him getting jealous of these two women, whether because of their lifestyle he didn't like the friendship Gabby was having. It's very possible that he was getting jealous, like maybe they'll steal his girl away. It's even possible that they were helping empower her, right? She's this 22-year-old, naive girl, and they were probably like empowering her and encouraging her, and he on the other hand was minimizing her and telling her she can't really do this whole vlogging thing and be successful at it or whatever. So she might have been starting to speak up for herself, and he was getting more and more agitated. Plus they were in a pressure cooker too. I mean, when I was with my husband, if we were in a 2-bedroom apartment, that was too close together. But anyway, so those are my thoughts. I really hope to get answers to my questions about what was happening after those 2 women were killed and by the time she was killed. Like, what
Let
happened?
me
He
just
must
ask you
not have let
something.
her out of his sight at all. He must have taken her phone. She must have been completely dominated at that point to not reach out to anybody other than to like order a phone. Like, why wasn't she, something?
Can I ask you
And
something?
yeah,
You said that you heard that they were reassuring the people in the area not to worry and stuff. Like, where did you see that, by the way?
I read that in a news article. I can look for it and I can send it to you.
Because that's
But
like a huge red flag to me. Like, you
yeah,
telling me that they're telling the people
yeah,
in Moab to not worry, like, that's weird.
yeah. They were saying, I mean, I don't think they used the words not worry, but they said that, the people here are safe, something. I'll look for the article, but I just read it today about those women because I'm really interested in that case because they're not really talking about that case. That case is kind of on the side burners, but I'll tell you, if they find Brian, I bet you that case is going to come up and he's going to get pinned for that. That's my feeling. It's just my own like gut instinct. I don't know this for sure. It's all allegedly, right? But it's just what I think and I think it makes sense. I just really want to know like what could have been going on with Gabby during that time frame of the, possibly the 13th, the night of the 13th to the thing. But I do believe she was breaking up with him. She didn't want him anymore. She wanted to end that trip with him. I do think that's what was happening. And once he realized that she wasn't coming back to him, he couldn't stand the rejection. And if he couldn't have her, she was gonna go.
Just like the saying goes, if I can't have you, nobody else will.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, Gourmet Thursday. I'm
All
really
right.
glad you called in and reignited the interest I have in the other murder because I was under the impression it was just completely ruled out after I seen a couple of headlines, but now I'm seeing that it's still like, they're still looking into it. I'm kind of confused. And you said a couple of things that kind of piqued my interest in it again. So thank you very much for your perspective. I always
and if you
appreciate
do
other
that
stuff
Google
because I
Map
get so
thing,
fixated on my own, like my own thought process that like
yeah,
I start to like not think outside the box because I'm like, no, this is it. So it's
yeah,
good to have other people like, hey, well, what
yeah,
about this? So thank
yeah.
you.
And if you do that Google Map thing where you just kind of map their trip starting at the Canyonlands, you'll see like, oh my God, they were right
I
there
will actually.
together,
I
the
will do
4 of
that.
them.
I can do that. That's a great idea. Good. Thank you for that.
All right, thank you. I
Okay,
like your
you're
channel.
welcome. Oh,
I'm a new
thanks.
subscriber.
I'm
So
glad to have you here. Thanks very much,
thanks.
Thursday.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. I got to figure out how to hang up.
Oh, hold on. I think I can. Oh, there we go. All right, guys. I don't think it was related. I see a couple of you saying you do, you don't. I kind of threw out the theory, to be honest with you, because I didn't really think it was related, and then I saw them. They didn't. But listen, there are a lot of coincidences, and I'm going to tell you, okay. Moab cannot be that big. I forget the population or whatever, but to have all this stuff happen and have them cross paths and stuff like that, I mean, what are the odds? It's just too coincidental. And that's exactly what I said, too coincidental, right? It's too coincidental. And there are 3, okay, and thank you, Strong. I was trying to think of the other stuff, right? Also, there are 3 missing and not found in the same area over the summer, and the 2 are dead also. So I'm not too sure about the numbers, but I know there are other things that they're looking into as far as people go, right? Missing people and things like that. So that's a great idea. Maybe we should I should think about Googling or whatever, looking up who else has exactly how many people have gone missing and when. Like when you say there are 3 people missing, you mean since the summertime or like what's the timeline on that? That's what I want to know. You know what I mean? I don't expect you to like come out and tell me, but anyways, yeah, we should have this conversation again later. It's like I gotta take care of my kid, get her in the bathtub for school tomorrow and stuff. But I definitely want to come back on either tonight or in the morning. I'll be here, but I definitely want to look at the map too. But All right, guys. Thank you for coming on and talking Thursday. I appreciate that. And thank you for showing up to my chat. You never know what's going to happen in the AZ Live. This one went pretty good. I didn't leave the screen. I didn't have any serious issues, which is a blessing in itself, because Lord knows I'm no Barbara Walters, right? No Barbara Walters. But hey. And yes, we're just speculating here. I saw some in the chat being like, yo, you guys think you know everything. Nah, we don't know everything. We're just talking amongst ourselves like you would do at a table with your friends pre-corona, okay? There's nothing wrong with talking. You don't like it, you don't need to be here, okay? This is AZ. I own my nasty. I'll tell you, you don't want to listen? Don't, If you are here, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, guys. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Bye. Thank you for subscribing too, by the way. Appreciate it. See ya. Thank you to my moderators. Bye.